Hello.
And
Welcome
to
Bastards.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and fucking welcome to episode 513 of Film Bastards. My name is Ian Loring, and as always, I am joined by...
Becky Foster, hello everyone.
Matt Foster, hello everybody.
Hello, one and all. We hope you are well. Coming up on this week's show, we've got Marty Scorsese's new 3.5 hour epic of depression, Killers of the Flower Moon, and that's it for a main review. We'll talk some other stuff. We'll talk some trailers, what we've been watching, got some questions, all that good stuff. We are a Pod Syndicate podcast, so please do listen to like-minded shows such as Gaming, Landfill, Chinstroker vs. Punter, and the Rewatch Project. And there we are. We're a minute into the recording, and that's the intro done. The strike continues. The actors and the studios are meeting again this week. Feels like there's maybe a little bit of unrest among the actors in terms of fucking let's not overplay our hands, guys. But Fran Drescher does what Fran Drescher want. We are... That is an incredible photo, Becky. Thank you for sharing that. We are...
It was the perfect time to,
Scorsese Totoro. Good. We are at the behest of Fran Drescher at this point. But it has led to Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning getting punted to May 2025. I am a little worried that they're kicking that so into the long grass that after the slightly critical, commercial reception to the last
Lukewarm,
one.
yeah.
Yes. Whether people will give a shit.
I think people do. I just think it was. I think it just came out at the wrong time.
Yeah, it's an odd one. It comes out on 4K disc a week Monday, so I'll be watching it again within the next couple of weeks. And I'm interested because I liked it in the cinema, but I've ever so slightly got a feeling that it might be because I was willing myself to like it, and I'm a little worried. So we will see there. That's the only... I think that's the only thing that's been pushed back recently. Like, Deadpool 3 already got pushed back to July, but I think the thinking is that they're just going to release Captain America in the May date anyway, because they were, like, done with photography. Does kind of need to start getting fucking resolved now, guys. I feel like Wonka is under threat, even though Wonka feels like a film that comes out at Christmas. But you could maybe get away with Easter for that. But it feels like a Christmas time film. So, we'll see. I feel like this time next week we'll be talking about a deal.
Yeah, it does seem like it's both sides kind of are a little bit like, do you know what, we need to kind of meet somewhere in the middle here now. This is it's gone on too long, and it's going to have too much of a long-standing impact. I think, from what I was reading, about Bike Riders is about to get pushed back from December 1st.
Oh yeah, so when? Do we know when?
I read a thing saying that it's looking like it might get, if a deal isn't struck very, very soon, then it will get pushed back to an undetermined time.
Yeah, because that's the thing. That film doesn't feel like a particular awards botherer, so it does need its cast out there to support it.
It needs.
The Austin Butler, Tom Hardy, Sons of Anarchy cosplay. Isn't it?
It needs Austin Butler on a red carpet talking about it.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like the studios are just going to go, right, we actually do have fucking winter movies that we want to be successful. We've got an award season that we want to campaign for. Let's just fucking strike a deal. It's interesting as well. I think it was either Variety or Hollywood Reporter I was reading yesterday. That some folks in the actors branch are going a bit, maybe we're actually asking for a bit too much for like out of the like the streamer revenue. And it was like, I can't remember the phrase now, but it was almost like it was an ego ask. I think the phrasing was. So whether maybe the actors back down a little bit and then the studios acquiesce to something.
That's it. It does seem like there's a bit more. The last talks, it was neither was willing to back down on anything, whereas now it seems a little bit like they're going, do you know what, we need movies and you need work.
Yeah, quite. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the last time we talk about it, pending a deal being done. And the thing is, even while the deal's being ratified, they'll probably say, like they did with the writers, okay, you can go back to work, you can start. And even if, like, maybe they don't quite start shooting things yet, you can have, I don't know, Rachel Zegler out there promoting that new Hunger Games film. You know, you can have Brie Larson out there for the Marvels. You know, and yeah. So anyway, here's hoping.
Yeah,
here's hoping. Do we have anything else news-wise?
Mike Flanagan's dropped a lot of cast announcements for his new film,
and it's a film.
It is. He has very much specified, saying, "We are a fully independent film in production under SAG-AFTRA interim agreements." Basically, and then said that so far the cast is. I'm just going to do the highlights because there's quite a few of these. Tom Hiddleston, Mark Hamill, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Karen Gillan, Jacob Tremblay, Mia Sara, Matthew Lillard. David Ditchmalian, Katie Siegel, Annalise Basso, Raoul Cooley's back. That Matt Biddell guy, who I think in a lot of his other ones, is there. And Heather Langenkamp and a lot of other like Flanagan normal collaborators are there as well.
From the stable.
That's looking cool.
And he starts shooting it in, I think it's basically the next few weeks he starts. What is it, a book you've read, Bex, or is it a short story?
Short story.
It's a short story.
Yeah, it's basically like the life story of Chuck, but it's not straightforward. It's twisty.
Cool. Will it make a good film?
Do you know what? I haven't read it in a good while. If anyone, to be fair, Flanagan made fucking Gerald's Game work.
Yeah.
So in Flanagan we trust.
Yeah. I think there'll be more Flanagan chat later on, won't there?
Yeah, I'm not gonna bang that drum too much. I've spoken about it a lot, but yeah, there will be a bit.
Nice. Good. Also, I'll just say that Godzilla -1 is coming out in the UK in mid-December, and apparently it will be coming out in IMAX and 4DX.
Yes.
Good. That film has the best marketing campaign I've maybe ever seen. Of Japan just went through World War II. Now Japan gets even more fucked. They're down to -1. Fuck you, Japan. I don't know. It's such a weird marketing campaign for that film.
It is, yeah. It is an odd one, isn't it? It is such a... It's just... You can imagine that somebody, whoever came up with it, was just going, I've got a really good fucking idea.
Our new and drinking update. Drinking red wine and recording this podcast is very weird.
Why is that?
It's a lovely drop as well, but it feels so fucking weird. Right. Anyway, let's see how much of this bottle I can get through tonight. Let's keep track. So, trailers. What have you guys got?
There's been a few. Let's have a look. Oh, well, a new Maestro one just dropped that we didn't get to. But we did...
Oh, it good.
Is it?
I talk about that.
Oh, right.
It good. It do multiple different kind of framings for the period of time. It kind of looks like the color grading's different as well. They're maybe making it look like it's shot with different lenses and shit. So the technical side of me goes, yes, please, ouchie mama, hot, hot, hot. Now, in terms of Maestro itself, interesting that Kerry Mulligan is first building it. So that's very intriguing. The trailer is basically about him. But yeah, this looks great. Comes out in limited release in cinemas in November. Netflix December 20th. So that's actually quite a large gap between them. But yeah, very really, really up for this. Hoping, and I'm assuming I'll be able to I feel like this one Netflix will actually make a bit of an effort to get this out at a wider cadence than The Killer this weekend. That's for sure.
It does seem like there's more of a appetite to get it out there and seen.
Yeah, for sure. But no, it's a good trailer. I'm really looking forward to that.
What we did catch, Leave the World Behind. Another Netflix one.
I actually think this looks quite intriguing.
It does, apart from I don't believe Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke as a couple.
No.
Like, I very much need to be sold that those two people can. I am so far to the point of where I don't even believe that they could exist in the same place. That is how much they'd look like they wouldn't be a couple. like they don't know who each other is.
Yeah, it's an odd one.
Yeah, but interesting looking trailer. Even if even if all the way through I was watching it going, I just wish it didn't look like a Netflix film. Like there's some Netflix films that don't look like Netflix films. And then this just does look like a Netflix film. It has that
well,
power.
I mean, that's the thing. Unless like the filmmaker has some real like sway to them, Netflix do give them almost like a style bible, like you get with TV shows, where it's here's what we want it to look like. Here's the kind of color grading that we want. And you're right. It looks like a film on streaming.
That's it. And it's just. I was watching, going. Can you imagine like that? The image of the shipping container coming towards, which is a really fucking cool image, especially for someone who's terrified of shipping containers for some reason. Coming towards them. But imagine that, but not looking like it was Netflix tool.
Yeah. I still think it looks pretty impressive.
It does, and it's an interesting story, and I'm looking forward to watching it. But it is one that I'm looking at going, selected theatres on Netflix. I think I might take Netflix on that one.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. This is one of those ones where it's not so bothered about. Which is a shame, because 10 years ago it would have been I'll go see that in the cinema, no bother.
Yeah. What else we got?
Such is life.
The first official Saltburn trailer, even though I think it's the third I've seen.
Yeah.
Oh really? I haven't seen this. Okay.
It looks very lot of bisexual lighting in it.
Right.
The thing after the trailer finished, I thought you didn't said that is either going to be a really do you know what? Fair enough. That's a twisted kind of. Give a credit. That is
it's
a fun thriller, or are you going to get to the end of it and go, what an absolute crock of just try hard shite.
Wow.
It looks like it could go either way.
Yeah, it does.
And I'm really not sure on it.
Well, it's got no awards heat on it whatsoever, so if it does land like a damp squib, I think you'll hear about it for 3 days, and that'll be it.
I mean, I think I'm more interested in it because it's got Barry Keoghan in it and Rosamund Pike.
You do like Rosie Pike, don't you?
I do, yeah. What else? We've got Rustin. The first trailer for Rustin. again has that Netflix patina to it.
And apparently it's shit, which is such a
It's
shame.
just a shame.
Look shit.
It looks a little bit by the numbers biopic, which is such a shame because also as well, Con Domingo looks really good in it.
Yeah.
It feels like such an important holy shit, didn't know about this guy's story.
The fact that the trailer is like from the director of what's it? Mari's Black Bottom, and from producers Barack and Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
It feels like, you're selling it on that, but it just doesn't. It looks like.
Plus, Mari's Black Bottom's not very good.
All the important bits are in the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really want it to be good because I want it to be good for the fact that the performance looks really good, and I will watch that guy in anything. Because A, he's always great in everything, and B, he just seems like a fucking good dude. When you see him in interviews, he's just a really fun and nice guy.
Absolutely.
Have you watched the Anyone But You trailer, Ian?
Well, that like minute long
Yeah.
thing.
I'm really
Yeah.
confused by the trailer. Like, it's got this real dramatic music over it. Like, and it seems to be trying to set it up as like this sexy thriller kind of vibe, but it's kind of got a bit of a holiday premise.
What you fucking
It's a comedy.
But it's
But my issue is this teaser trailer. All it does is it just goes, hey, look at Glenn Powell without his shirt on, and look at her tits. But beyond that, you're there going, I don't have a clue what this movie is about at all. But it tries to kind of tell you, but then just also just goes, but look,
Tits.
shirtless and tits. And the thing is, I'm watching it going, I do like tits and Glenn Powell shirtless, so I will watch it, but I kind of let you know what it's about.
you do like shit rom-coms as well, don't you?
But I mean, yeah. Because is there any dialogue in that trailer? It feels like it's them looking pissed off with each other, and then, I mean, I know the premise of the film anyway, but without this trailer, I wouldn't have a clue. And then she grabs his balls at the end.
It's just, that's
Cool.
it. I need a trailer, and I need it to look like it's fun, not like it's not like it is basically just going to be, yes, we get it, they're both hot, but can we have something else?
And I mean, that is a film that fucking needs the strike to be over.
Yeah. Very much so.
Like, yeah. We'll see. That's a December release as well.
All right, we watched. I know we've talked about it before, but we watched we call it the Ferrari trailer, but on the big screen. It was so cool watching a trailer for a Michael Mann film on a big screen, knowing that it's going to exist in a cinema. I genuinely, after and I really like Black Hat, but after the lukewarm response to that, I thought, do you know what? I don't think we're ever going to see another Michael Mann film in a cinema again.
Yeah.
But if he does end
agree.
up making one, it will be for a streaming service.
Yeah.
And then even when Ferrari got greenlit and he was making it, even with the cast, I still did think this is just going to end up as a streaming thing. So to know that we're going to get a new Michael Mann film and it's more of a Michael Mann drama that has some action in it, it is just, I'm very much looking forward to it.
And I appreciate the Sky have actually gone, look, we're going to go big balls with this. We could just put this on Sky Cinema on Boxing Day and drive some subscribers, but they're nah, fuck it. Here we go. Let's actually give this a go. Over here.
I read
it's great.
With the guy who, the sort of programmes who is in charge of Sky Originals, and he was asked. It was before the Ferrari thing, but he was asked about the releasing things at cinema versus just putting them straight to streaming. And his thing was, look, we're not going to do it with every Sky original because there's no point. But if there's one, if in a meeting room, there's somewhere we don't ask the question, should we release this in the cinema? But then the ones where we do ask the question of should we release this in the cinema, our answer there is, well, if we're asking should we actually think that we probably should. So for us, why not? We stand to lose very little, but gain quite a lot.
And it will make money. This is just an insanely dad film. And to have this out there on Boxing Day, that week between Boxing Day and New Year's, I wouldn't be surprised if most showings of this film are fucking busy. Yeah. And also, fair play to Sky, they've already started the marketing for it. They talk about it in every single fucking Grand Prix. And Adam Driver did their introduction for, their filmed introduction for the US Grand Prix over the weekend. They're getting the word out there on the film. I think it's going to do really bloody well. God knows I'll be there Boxing Day, but I think a lot of people will be in the screen with me.
Yeah, I think there's definitely... I think there's an appetite for... I think there's an appetite for cinema that is aimed at non-cinema goers, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's an appetite there for people who go to the cinema 3-4 times a year. And people who genuinely just are not bothered about the latest franchise movie.
Yeah.
Because it's an idea that that those people don't care, but they actually do. It's just whenever they look and go, "Oh, do you fancy going to the cinema?" or anything like that, it is just franchise stuff, so they don't really bother as much. And it's kind of why there's certain movies where something like, for instance, Best Exotic Marigold Hotel ends up making a decent amount of money. We will go, "Oh, that came out of nowhere." And it's like, well, no, it's because it's people who don't give a shit about Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
And you will get people will be interested in Ferrari because you'll get people Ian, you're interested on a few levels. You're interested on a level of as a film lover and as an F1 lover, but you'll also get car enthusiasts will go and see it.
Yeah, for sure.
And you'll get that element of it. So you'll get a bit more. Adam Driver stands might go and see it. I mean, they didn't go and see Gucci, but they might go and see this.
Gucci was poor.
But yeah.
Whereas this actually looks like it could be quite good.
Do you know what doesn't look good?
Go on.
The Boys in the Boat.
Yeah.
I think, do you know what? Those boys, I think if they really try hard and if they don't lose their spirit, guys, I think they're going to win. I think they might just win.
I got introduced to The Boys in the Boat by somebody had taken the poster and changed it to directed by George Clooney. And in the same font on the poster put, the whitest movie ever made. And then I watched the trailer and was like, oh shit, that's so right.
Yeah.
What is Clooney doing?
He doesn't... the thing is, for years, Clooney has given off this for years, he cultivated and he gave off this air of, really cool and kind of continental guy, with his, living in Italy and, doing, all these cool movies and been like the Silver Fox Prime and all this stuff. And then it's actually he's a bit fucking dull, isn't he? It's just become a bit miserable and a bit fucking dull.
Yeah, it looks really boring.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point now where you're looking at it and going, is he actually a crap filmmaker? Because I thought he was alright.
like, honestly, this one's heavy. If there is anything else out that weekend, I doubt I'll even bother watching this.
I am heavily like if it's raining outside and I've got to dash into the cinema, I might just watch something else on my iPad in the car park.
Yeah, who gives a fuck? Why does this story need to be told?
Doesn't. It's just so pointless.
Hey, look, if it comes out and it gets good reviews, maybe I'll reconsider it. But my God, that's a fucking bland trailer.
It's so. If you'd have not put George Clooney's name at the end of it, and you'd have put a Hallmark fucking ident in the bottom right hand corner, I guarantee you people wouldn't have thought, or a Lifetime one, people wouldn't have noticed the difference.
No. Has he directed anything good though?
He had a few at the start of his directorial career where he was doing sort of.
I mean, Good Night and Good Luck's an absolute fucking stone cold classic.
The Dangerous Mind is good. Ides of March is good. You know,
Midnight Sky is not terrible. It's not great,
but at least it's interesting. This is just. It's just dull. It's just fucking dull. It's a Wonderful Knife.
What the fuck?
So,
what, really?
Shudder,
what's that?
You know, like around about Christmas time, we get all of like the Netflix movies and the there's another one that it's a Lifetime do them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They do like all these Christmas movies. Shudder have done one, but in like a horror form. So it stars Justin Long, and it seems to give away that. Well, it very much gives away in the trailer that he is the killer in it, and he is killed and stopped by a girl in the town, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then a year later, she's still traumatized by it, but the town doesn't give a shit. So she does like a "It's a Wonderful Life" wish, saying, "God, I wonder what would happen if I'd never been born." And then it turns out that, what would you have it? She's not been born, and this killer is now just killing at random, not even just at Christmas, just every like couple of days. But she knows it's the mayor. It just looks kind of fun. I like the fact that the mayor is dressed up like fucking Demon Knight as well. That what is it like the Oscar Isaac's Marvel one?
Yeah, it's a bit actually. Yeah. The thing is, I'll watch it because it looks fun, but that trailer gives away far too much information.
I'm fine with that. It's all. I'm going to see how long it is. Cause if this movie is over 92 minutes, It's a Wonderful Knife. It is 90 minutes. Yes.
Perfect. No notes.
Catherine
Well done,
Isabel
guys.
plays Gail Prescott.
Gail really? Wow, Scream's now so old that whole kind of homaging characters with names and stuff is now.
I'm fairly sure she plays a reporter in it.
Great stuff.
Yeah,
Good.
So this is on Shudder in like November. I will watch the shit out of that.
Nice.
Oh, nice little fucking Jason X tribute in the poster as well. I think that's it. Oh no, wait, last one. The Netflix original documentary Sly.
Yes.
Yeah, this is out soon as well, isn't it?
November 3rd. Yep. We'll watch the shit out of a Sly Stallone documentary.
Yeah, review it in a couple of weeks.
Yep. But that's it for us. The trailers.
Nice. Good. Good stuff. Cool. Okay, so let's talk about Killers of the Flower Moon. IMDb appears to be down, so let's give this a go. Killers of the Flower Moon is directed by Martin Scorsese and stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Lily Gladstone, Robert De Niro, Jesse Plemons, and many others. And this is based on the true events of just a whole fucking bunch of ridiculous fucking killings where it's all incredibly obvious who's doing shit, but because it's against the Osage Nation, no one really seems to care. Enter Ernest, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, who is basically cajoled by his uncle to marry his wife, Molly, played by Lily Gladstone, to basically set off a chain of events to try and get at her family's wealth. So, he's a big boy. He's 3.5 hours long. Gonna throw it over to. I'm gonna throw it to Mark first because it's Scorsese. Mark, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, we walked out, Bex, didn't we?
That's gonna give the wrong impression.
No. At the end, we walked out, and I turned to Bex and said, "What I most loved about that movie is it's a 3.5 hour movie that feels like a 2.5 hour movie, but that it's worthy of its 2.5 hour moviness." And I said something like, for instance, Shawshank Redemption. It's a 2.5 hour movie, but it feels like it earns that 2.5 hours. There's never a baggy point within it.
No.
This feels like a 2.5 hour movie, but it's not. It's a 3.5 hour movie, and I don't think it's baggy at any point. And it's not like not like something like Wolf of Wall Street, where that's 3 hours of just high octane, just madness.
Yeah.
This is a lot more like it's a lot closer to something like Silence than it is to something like Wolf of Wall Street, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Very interesting the fact that and I watched an interview with Scorsese where he said that when they were originally going into making it, DiCaprio was playing the part that Jesse Plemons played, and it was going to be more procedural. And Scorsese said that it didn't click with him. So he said rather than doing it from the outside coming in, he wanted to flip it and do it from the outside, from the inside coming out. And what it does is it creates this incredibly just odd. I think watching it from an audience point of view from now, you're looking at the fact that it's not really passing judgment. It's just telling you the event, but it's not. It's also it's very much not saying look at the poor Osage. It's kind of going look, these definitely didn't deserve this, and this was effectively an all-out American, we don't give a shit because we whites want that money. We think we deserve it more. But it was also saying, but the Osage just seemed to just kind of just laud it a little bit.
Yeah.
That was the irksome bit for them, which is fine. They should be able to laud it.
Yeah.
But it never seems to. It doesn't seem to want to put out its. It doesn't seem to want to just be one-sided. It's showing you the events and letting you as an audience kind of work out who the bad guys are. Very obviously work out, because it's going, it's De Niro!
Yeah.
At you. De Niro's just fantastic. And there's a lot of praise going out to Lily Gladstone, and there should be, and DiCaprio, but De Niro...
But you want to talk about the old 80-year-old white man, I get it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Just the way that he is... He never seems to break from the fact that he's just... Everything. Every single conversation he has is a fucking move for him. Everybody that he comes into contact with, it is just part of this odd game he's playing.
Yeah.
And the only time that he has a moment where he isn't doing it is when it goes mildly wrong for him, and he can't get the insurance money.
Yeah.
And he loses his shit a little bit.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't all spiral out of control from that. Even when he gets arrested, he still acts like, I'm all in control of this. I'm going to throw it open to other people for now. We'll get more at the bones of it. But yeah, it's an incredible piece of work. Just for the sheer scale of managing to make a 3.5 hour epic that doesn't feel baggy.
Yeah.
So, go on, Bex.
Yeah, I mean, I will agree. It doesn't feel like 3.5 hours. I was very glad we went to Parkway to see it, and we were in the comfy seat screen, though, because I think it could have in a less comfortable seat. But yeah, it doesn't feel like 3.5 hours long. It's very good. I'm not quite as hot on it as you are. I think the fact that there was very little character development left it feeling a little hollow for me. But performances are all very good. The story is very interesting. I think it, by design, is a bit all surface. So if you actually want to understand like what went on, you'd have to do some back reading, because it is just presenting what it's presenting rather than really kind of giving you the bones of it. But that is by design. It is showing you what went on during this brief period.
Yeah.
I do feel, and I said this to you when we've been to see it, I do feel like I would have probably preferred the original film about the investigation and stuff with the team that were like undercover in the town and Clement's character and stuff like that. I think that would have been a really good film. But all that being said, it absolutely fucking flies by, and it is really interesting, but it does make you want to go learn more about what actually happened.
Which I think the film wants you to do.
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thought. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was cracking. It's that whole. It's a 3.5 hour long film that feels like a 2.5 hour long film that isn't baggy. Is well put there, Mark. And I don't know. It felt lived in. Like, I don't know. Everybody. I know it sounds almost like stupid, but it just felt like everybody was of that place. It felt like a great deal of effort and attention went into it, and I like that Scorsese kind of indulges himself in the opening where it feels very busy and there's a lot of like fast edits and stuff like that, where it's kind of like painting the picture of the place, and then the film slows the fuck down.
Yeah.
And you just kind of get into its rhythm. Reading up about it after, and the fact that originally it was like, because the book is like The Killers of the Flower Moon, like, and like the title something like The Killers of the Flower Moon and the Birth of the FBI or something like that, and it's way more focused on Jesse Plemons' character, and then they kind of changed that narrative, and I'm glad they. I mean, I'm glad they did for the purposes of this film, because the narrative is great, and it's anger-inducing as well for just how idiotic these people are, and how they just get away with all of this shit.
Yeah, I did. I love the claustrophobic feeling of like these people are living within this town, and they don't realise that pretty much everybody that isn't from their tribe wants a piece of them. And is in on all this shady shit that's going on. Like, I love that kind of... It holds that tension so well throughout the entire movie. Like that one guy that just keeps marrying different sisters. What a cunt he is.
Yeah.
And, oh, God, that one bit where that one guy is, like, saying, like... So, like, if I murdered... my adopted children, then, you know, I'd lay a... And then the guy is just like, well, it sounds like you're saying that you're going to murder your children. And he's like, well, not if I not if I can't do it nice and legal or something. It's like, what the fuck?
And the great thing is, and I think that it's definitely intentional, because everybody in our screening kind of laughed at that, but not in a "that's funny," just as in a "holy shit" kind of like, laugh. Not a "oh, isn't he funny? He's gonna murder his kids to get the money." It was just a fucking hell, Scorsese. Really?
Yeah.
But it is like that.
Yeah. But then it's like early on, like the scene where DiCaprio first starts driving her around. It's a lot of white people trying to sell their services to the Osage people. And then as the film goes on, every time there's a crowd scene, it kind of feels like the white man just encroaches more and more.
You've even got the...
And then towards the end of the film...
So you've even got the scene within that where DiCaprio is chewing out the Undertaker and saying, "You what the fuck are you doing? I'm a white man. You're giving me Osage prices here."
Yeah.
And it's basically, that's there to highlight, look, this entire town is built on just exploiting that money. And the Osage they kind of know it is, in a way, but they're very much like, but fuck it. We get driven around by the white man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also watching it on an IMAX screen was wonderful. There's some, like that imagery at the start, like the oil bursting up and then them just dancing in the oil. That big was fucking awesome,
especially with the fact that I didn't expect anything less from Scorsese. Was what I loved is the fact that Scorsese doesn't pander and have an Indian sounding score. He just gets fucking Robbie Robertson to just do a fucking full blown guitar score for it, and so it feels like meaty and just not like it's pandering. It is. I'm gonna give you this is not going to be a traditional movie. I am not making effectively a western.
For sure.
It's a great score,
and it's so like I say, it's so lived in. It really uses that runtime to tell that story so evocatively, and like, I'll tell you what, big fucking owl on that IMAX screen as well, like that. Like, that was great. I was just reading as well that apparently, like, that was that owl's first on camera role, and whenever it was shooting, DiCaprio went and watched it. And I love that. DiCaprio's just into watching this owl do its thing. It's great.
You get the idea that weirdly, DiCaprio will have taken things from that.
Yeah. And it's interesting because as the film goes on, I mean, Lily Gladstone, it's an interesting one as well, her, because she, like, they're campaigning her for Best Actress as opposed to Best Supporting Actress. And I think that's kind of brave, just because once she's laid up, she, like, the second half of the film, she gets a couple of big scenes, don't get me wrong, but she's not nearly the presence that she is in the first half. But I think because she is that presence, she is that strong woman taken down slowly and surely. Whereas, Anna, her sister, she, like, that actress packs a punch in, like, the 10-15 minutes she's on screen. And then she's gone. But Lily Gladstone, she fucking lingers. And I thought her character was so complex, because I was kind of thinking towards the end, Jesus fucking Christ, is she just, like, actually willfully myopic? Like, why is she still with him? And it's just, they do love each other. Like, they love each other. It's this fucking weird love, but they love each other. But then the end, just the whole, have you told me the full truth? like, and what was it like? Was there anything else in that insulin? And he's like, no, and that's the straw that breaks the camel's back, because it's almost like the first time that she's actually been able to like see through it. And yeah, I don't know, it kind of resonates. We a friend of ours just broke up with a partner a few weeks back, and there's some weird psychological manipulation kind of shit that he's doing, and it makes anyway, it just, those kind of twisted kind of like relationship stories, thankfully I don't have any experience of it, but I think, but anyway, back to the film, by the end here, I think you get her, you get it, and you see why that was the thing that ended it. And she's cracking, as are John Lithgow and Brendan Fraser. I love Brendan Fraser calling DiCaprio a boy.
Yeah.
Just that one moment. Give him best supporting 5 seconds.
Yes. It's the way he says. I do the fact that Fraser just rocks up, is in like 2 scenes, but just is. It's very much, oh, he gets the assignment. I've got to come in and be big and overblown, and it's even the way that that Scorsese has Rodrigo Prieto shooting him. He's always like shot from as if someone is sat down looking up at him.
Yeah.
So it just makes him seem bigger. It's just some really interesting casting in it as well, though, throughout. Having, because you've got big hitters like DiCaprio, De Niro, Jesse Plemons turned up, Fraser, Jonathan Lithgow, but then having like Jason Isabel in it. There's a lot of musicians in this.
Yeah.
I've just gone through there. You've got Jason Isabel is in it, Sturgill Simpson's in it, Pete Yorn's in it, and Jack White's in it. It's odd for a movie to have that many just outright musicians in it.
Yeah.
And like,
they just cast.
That's it. And a couple of them are in like quite big acting roles. Sturgill Simpson, and, like, all the way through it, whenever he turned up, Henry, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's fucking Sturgill Simpson, but I couldn't like fully picture it. And then when Ace Kirby turned up, I was like, is that Pete Yorn? It can't be. So yeah, it's. I don't think there's that many moments of true kind of levity in it. I don't think it's ever. There's a couple of moments that are amusing in it, but a literal like snap of a moment. But there are, like the fact that when they get married, they're both laughing at the whole ceremony thing is quite fun. And from watching a thing with Scorsese where he said, we wanted to show the fact that, even like people within that community think that a lot of the pageantry of it all is a little bit silly.
Yeah.
They are. It's not just people watching it from the outside who go, it's a bit silly. They kind of know it's silly, but a lot of most pageantry for weddings and things like that is kind of silly.
Yeah.
We don't have to think that, well, no, it's quite serious just because we don't understand it. Most wedding bits are a little bit silly.
Yeah.
Why can't other cultures' weddings be silly? And it's quite good in that sense, in the fact that, like you said, I think Ian said earlier, it feels quite lived in. And it's not overtly explaining it. It has the opening, which cleverly explains it in like the form of like newsreel bits. And then at the end, it's a wonderful thing of going, well, newsreel bits, because when the story starts, that's how people got news. And then at the end going, well, when the story ends, true crime radio was a thing. And true crime, almost a little bit nod and a wink to a modern time of going, oh, this is true crime. Fucking, there'll be people out there you people watching, you fucking love true crime podcasts. They're not new. They were happening 100 years ago.
Yeah.
On a thing called the radio. Was just really like, all right, well fucking played, Marty.
Beautiful way of wrapping it up
Yeah.
as well, rather than just having like
A title card.
a screen crawl or a title card.
Yeah. It's just such a it's such a fun way, and it's a guy who how old is Scorsese now?
803.
80. It's a guy in his 80s just having ideas that you go, that just makes so much sense. That there's a lot of filmmakers out there who are approaching that age who all say the same thing when they're asked, you don't make films a lot now, and it's like, well, because it's quite tiring, and I don't have as many ideas as I used to have. Whereas Scorsese just seems to be the opposite.
Yeah.
He just seems to have just all these ideas, and it's probably because he just watches so much cinema.
Yeah.
And isn't afraid to go, yeah, I'm going to use that. I'm influenced by that. I'm not copying it, but it's there. And it's an influence. Why can't I use these ideas?
Nice.
Yeah. I'm fascinated to watch it again. Because I do think there's going to be bits within it that you pick up quite easily. And also as well, the fact that when the FBI agents come in and anyone with a sort of degree of seriousness comes to start investigating it, it all unravels really easily.
Yeah.
He's literally there, like, an hour away from the end of the film, and immediately it's like, this is all absolute horseshit.
Yeah.
And just like when they meet up, and then in the background it's just Robert De Niro torching his fucking place.
Yep, but even to the point of where, and it's absolutely, because I saw somebody in a review I read after it, because I tend to not read reviews before I've watched the movie.
Yeah.
But somebody was saying, and it was so obvious that guy was an FBI plant, that he just happened to turn up at the same time as the FBI agents. It's like, yeah, you're supposed to know that he's clearly a plant. He literally arrives the same day and says that he's come from Washington and he thinks he might have Osage blood. He's clearly there to infiltrate.
Yeah.
But the fact that he doesn't even, it's not even difficult when they keep playing the same hand of going, oh, see, you're saying that, yeah, alright, bring him in. Oh, shit. Fucking great film.
Yeah, terrific film. Definitely not shit.
Definitely not shit. It's one of the, again, another very easy, definitely not shit. I like having the easy, definitely not shits. Our audience poll. Definitely not shit, 67%. Touching cloth, 22%. And shit, 11%. I did put a poll out on Instagram as well. Definitely not shit, 60%. And touching cloth, 40%. So our Instagrammers liked it better than our Twitterers.
Excellent.
Oh, nice. Cool. Okay, let's do some what we've been watching. Who wants to start? Or what we've been up to, sorry. Who wants to start?
I've only watched a few solo. What have you watched, Bex, solo?
I have watched an awful lot of The Haunting of Hill House. And
I thought you watched it all.
yeah.
That's an awful lot is all of it then. Yeah, right.
And one film.
What film?
So I watched. I started it last week, but I haven't finished it, so I didn't talk about it. Watched the end of Perfect Blue. All of
nice.
films are just like fucking fever dreams, basically, aren't they? Really, really good. I've seen it before, but like years ago. Forgot how like creepy it is. Like she's losing our mind, basically. And I like stuff like that, where you go on that journey with them.
Yeah.
It's why The Bell Jar is one of my favourite books. Makes me feel sane in comparison. But yeah, really, really fucking good. Just,
Sorry.
I think the ones that I've watched recently, and I want to catch up on the ones that I haven't, but what a fucking fantastic filmmaker. Just the way that it kind of absorbs you into the into what's being portrayed, and like into the frame of mind of the characters as well. I think it's just really, really good. And yeah, I watched the entirety of The Haunting of Hill House again, which I don't think I've ever managed to do it in a week before, though. I'm quite impressed with myself.
It wasn't even like a week, Bex. It was like 4 days.
Yeah, well, I think because I was not hugely but mildly disappointed by the fall of the House of Usher, and you know, there is, when you really enjoy something, you can kind of lionize it a little bit, can't you? And then I wanted to go back and watch Hill House, not to ruin it for myself, but just to kind of see if it belonged on this pedestal that I've put it on. And it really fucking does. I sent you guys a message. If Twin Peaks didn't exist, Hill House would be peak TV for me. It would be top of the tree completely. It is just perfect TV, and the way that the story wraps around itself, and things that you presented within like the first episode get explained in like the second to last, and you go, oh, okay, so that's what was happening there. It's got such a firm grip on what it's doing that there's no dropped stitches at all in that show. It is perfect. And yeah, I think House of Usher for me, part of why I didn't love it as much as I wanted to, I think the characters feel like characters instead of people. Whereas in Hill House, they're just, you know, wonderful, flawed, imperfect human beings. And it makes me cry. So, still, even though I know what's coming.
And that just shows the quality of it.
Yeah, definitely. It is, to date, for me, it is the best work Flanagan's done.
So far.
A lot resting on your shoulders, life of Chuck. I really hope he can get back to that level if he's going to be doing The Dark Tower. He does seem to shine with Stephen King stuff, though, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool.
The only thing we watched together this week, Becky, was Point Break, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. We've not had a very filmy week, have we?
No, we've not. We were at a gig last night, though, weren't we? So,
We were.
Yeah. And we've had just like a bit of a busy week. But yeah, what have I watched? Did I speak about Jason's Lyric last week?
Don't think so.
So I watched Jason's Lyric, which apparently, according to the Wikipedia thing I'm looking at, it's an erotic, romantic, psychological drama film.
So just everything.
It's not very erotic.
No.
Like, it's not in any way at all erotic.
Forrest Whitaker plays a character called Mad Dog.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker plays a character called Mad Dog.
Love it.
So it's essentially a story about two brothers who, as children, witnessed the fatal shooting of their abusive father. Mad Dog, played by Forrest Whitaker, who was a very good father, a good guy, and then was drafted to Vietnam, and then came back in not a very good way. Like, he'd lost half of his leg, and literally, I think one of the lines in the movie is he lost half of his leg and most of his mind, and he becomes an abusive drunk. So his wife basically kicks him out, and every so often he comes back and tries to get in the house. This one time he does get in the house, and then he ends up getting shot by one of his sons, And then it flash forwards like 20 years, and the kids are a little bit older. What would you have it? One of them is like the good son, and the other one is the bad son.
Who's the good son?
The good son is played by Alan Payne, and the bad son is played by Buckham Woodbine.
He's great.
What?
I like him.
Buckham Woodbine.
Yeah, he's the uncle in Queen and Slim, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's very good in this. And the thing is, it plays out like this quite small town story of one brother just trying to get out and constantly having to be held back by his idiot, hothead younger brother.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the Jason. And this is the bit where it's going to make you cringe a little bit. So Jason, he's got a good job. You're gonna just pull a face, can't you? Bet you just found out why. So Jason, he's got a way out. He's got a decent job, and he's about to move out of the town that he's been stuck in. And he's gonna take the girlfriend that he's got in this town, played by Jada Pinkett, before she was Jada Pinkett Smith. Do you know what she's called?
Well, I do, because I'm looking at the IMDb.
What's she called, Becky?
She's called fucking Lyric.
So that is it, Jason's Lyric.
Gross.
Yep. The erotic bit is at one point they fuck in a field. That's about it. It's not very erotic.
Okay.
But the problem is, the story of them and their relationship is terrible.
Right.
But the brother, like him having to constantly get his brother out of trouble bit, is quite good. So it ends up, but the problem is it's trying to focus too much on that other relationship that you just go, I just don't care anymore. And it keeps referring back to the moment when Mad Dog gets shot, and you're obviously there going, oh well, it's Buckham Woodbine, isn't it? Because he was the hothead and he had the gun and everything like that. And that's what the movie's like going, oh, it's that. But actually, as a film watcher, you're watching it going, well, it's clearly not him, then. It's clearly the fact that that Jason killed him.
Before he got his lyric.
Yeah, before he got his lyric. Yeah. It's fine. I also watched, going from one end of the spectrum to the fucking other, I rewatched Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery.
Good lord, why?
Curiosity.
You show that number 2 who's boss, boy.
The thing is, it's fine. It's kind of fine. It's Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery. There's some really funny bits in it. There's some great visual gags. The Mike Myers face as Austin Powers is coming out of cryo frozen and is going through the whole process is just funny. It just is. I know it probably shouldn't be, but it's funny. And that's the problem, is it's funny at a lot of points where it probably, you know, when it's not trying to do too crass a humour, it is quite funny. And it's more, there's a mental thing about the fact that Mike Myers doesn't get spoken about enough for literally how successful he was between 1992 and when did the third Austin Powers movie come out? 2002. So he had like a
or 3.
So he had a 10-year period where he made 2 characters, where he had Wayne and Austin Powers. In a 10-year period, he made like 5 movies for like less than $200 million that made like over $1 billion.
Yeah.
Even then, and then after that, he had like or within that period as well, he had massive success with Trek as well at the same time.
Yeah.
It's kind of bonkers that he now just, I think he did a series for Netflix recently. And it's just, he keeps talking about the fact that I saw an interview with him from earlier on this year where he was saying, he was asking, why didn't you make more Austin Powers movies? And he was like, because I had kids and I enjoyed being a dad. And that was more interesting to me than making a Austin Powers movie. I was asked, that then was like, would you like to make another one? I went, yeah, I think it'd kind of be fun to make another movie. And like, well, even with like the different sensibilities, I went, yeah, because you just make it taking those into account, not riling against them, but kind of making them part of the story and working out how do you do that? How do you still make a fun story with this character without essentially just being an arsehole?
Fair.
I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Well, IMDb says that the upcoming projects are Wayne's World 3 and Austin Powers 4.
Yeah, but I just think that they're like projects that are always there if they ever decide
Just in case.
Yeah. I think they are doing another Shrek movie at the moment, aren't they?
I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then the last one I watched was if you're going to go from like Jason's Lyric to Austin Powers into Man of Mystery, you're in the middle ground here. I watched Rod Lurie's Robert Redford and James Gandolfini starring The Last Castle. Have you ever seen this?
Yeah.
I hadn't seen it before.
No, I haven't.
Music by Jerry Goldsmith and Tom Waits. Yeah.
Solid.
It's a prison drama, but it's set in a military prison. And James Gandolfini essentially is the prison sort of like he's the prison warden essentially. And the film starts off with him basically polishing his collection of military regalia he's got, and then a phone call comes in, and it turns out they're getting like this a prisoner that's coming to them, this lieutenant general, this like absolute war hero played by Robert Redford, is coming to their prison, and everybody is in like awe of him, including James Gandolfini's character. But very early on, within like their first meeting with him, James Gandolfini's character is saying, I never would normally do this, but I have a lot of books on warfare, including your book. Will you sign it for me? And while he's out of the room, Rod Redford's character is talking to one of the other sort of prison officers there, military prison officers there, who is talking about like his amazing collection of military regalia he's got. And Redford's like, going, yeah, anybody who has this much, has this big a collection has clearly never seen actual action or battle ever. And that just pisses off Gandolfini's character, and it just becomes this film where it's Robert Redford's character versus James Gandolfini's character, and it makes it very obvious from the start that James Gandolfini is very much out of his depth, and Robert Redford is just... he's playing it in a very Robert Redford way, is what I would say. It's like 2 hours, 10 minutes long, but I'm going to be honest, I had a great time watching it. You've got supporting performances from Mark Ruffalo, Delroy Lindau's in it, Clifton Collins Jr. is there. Let's say a really good score. And it's kind of famous for the fact that it cost a lot of money and then just didn't make any. But it doesn't stop it from being a really quite entertaining watch, to be honest. I very much enjoyed it. It's Redford being Robert Redford, Gandolfini playing kind of, very much a guy who has got way too much power that his ego can't contain it. And Ruffalo being Mark Ruffalo, very kind of like just... it's a good early Mark Ruffalo performance where you can see that he's gone on to become, a big star within it. Yeah, I had a really good time with it. I would say it'd be a good kind of like either something like a good afternoon watch or a good like plane watch or something like that for you, Ian. Yeah,
nice.
Real good time with it. I've hovered over it for like a good number of years and then went, fuck it, and then have it. So I watched it over a couple of lunch hours at work, and yeah, I almost and a little bit wish that I'd just watched it just on a day off during the day where I could have watched it in one big block. I think it would have benefited from that. Yeah, but that's it.
Nice.
For us.
Okay, so I've got a few things. So, took a look at Haunted Mansion from this year that I know.
Where are we at on the wine?
Oh, good call. So I think I've just poured myself a glass.
Yeah.
I think I've got 1.5 large glasses left.
How's it hitting? Is it good?
It's going well. Is it that we want me to have finished this bottle by the time we finish?
Just wait to see where you get to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Drinking it
right.
at an organic pace that feels right, and we'll see where we're at. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I can do that. So yeah, strap in. I've got a few here. So, Haunted Mansion. Had a look at that. I know Bex talks about it a few weeks back when she went to see it at the cinema. Yeah, like, for the first half hour, I was like, Bex is mad. This is great. I thought it started really strong. But, man, this film is really busy. Like, just too much going on.
Films smashed into one, isn't it?
Yeah. Massive green screen vibes throughout the whole thing. It barely looks like there was a shot that wasn't against the green screen for the entire thing. There's like no practical production value to the thing whatsoever. Lakeith Stanfield's good. I mean, actually, the cast as a whole is good. Tiffany Haddish is having fun. DeVito's like funny. There's one scene where they're talking to him in a restaurant and he just appears to have like this big suit where it's just trying to collect sweat on or something. I don't know what that was about. It just kind of feels like something that Danny DeVito was just wearing on the day. But yeah, like, and it's amazing as well because like the opening credits are like, and Jared Leto as the Hatbox Ghost. I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm waiting for Jared Leto to like rock up, and then it just occurs to me at the end, oh, he's the CG guy who's the main bad guy with a digitally altered voice, and it's like that actually could have been anyone. I could have played that role. It's so weird that that's Jared Leto
with Ian Loring as not Jared Leto.
I mean, sure, like. And it's so weird because they say as the Hatbox Ghost, and like he's named in the film, so it's like they're trying to trip you up, or like just it's almost like that contractually Jared Leto had to be in the credits, but the filmmakers don't want to tell you who he's playing, and they digitally scrub his entire performance. It's bizarre. It's really weird. I will say as well, Owen Wilson plays this priest character, and it honestly feels like there was some producer at Disney who was just like, you must have at least 2 white men in this film. Because the film is, to its credit, pretty diverse. And then Owen Wilson and Danny DeVito are in it. And Danny DeVito is bringing some colour and character to it. Owen Wilson, no. It's very, very odd. It just felt that it was a contractual thing to include Owen Wilson. So yeah, I was pretty disappointed by it.
They had a couple of days left
really strong
from like Loki on his contract.
Yeah, and it was like, oh fuck it, all right, Owen, yeah, go on, do this. Like he's in it a good amount, but he adds nothing. Yeah. So this I can see why this just sank without a trace, to be honest. And it's the guy who directed Dear White People, and he's doing
he did
this
over 100 million, which I'm surprised at, to be honest.
Worldwide, yeah,
No,
not
it's
domestic,
worldwide,
yeah. And I mean that it will have lost money. That film cost chunk.
I think it costs about 150.
So just there's moments of promise in it, but by the end it was just like, yeah, all right, that happened. Okay, so Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. This is on Netflix.
Yeah. I couldn't get on with this the first time I watched it, and I've been wanting to kind of give it another go for a long while, just because I think I might. I genuinely think I am wrong.
The thing is, right, looking at Letterboxd and seeing younger people, what I assume are younger people review this, it's just like, oh, it's so fucking slow. Oh, it's so boring. It's either that or thirsty comments about Tom Hardy or Benedict Cumberbatch.
Really? Tom Hardy has never looked worse than he looks in this film.
Oh, he's got a wig on, hasn't he? He's got a wig on.
And he's wearing just like real fucking old man jumpers throughout it.
I mean, that's a kink. Have you seen some of the jumpers people wear now?
The thing is...
No, they're not those
it
kind of
is a
jumpers.
kink.
They're like jumpers you'd get from like Asda.
Yeah.
But
It's not a good cable knit like Chris
I read...
fucking... What? Yeah.
Knives Out.
Sorry, Ian.
No, you're all right. Don't worry. The thing is, it is slow, and it's like people are saying it's confusing, and I am a little bit. Or you could just pay attention for a couple of hours.
Yeah, that's fair.
There is a lot of talking, and there's a lot of flashbacks and things like that. But to be honest, by the end, it's like, yeah, that makes complete sense to me. Thank you very much. And I'm not saying that I'm a Mr. Smarty Pants. It's just, yeah, I just paid attention. Score fucking rules. I love the look of it. Gary Oldman in it. He's so understated. And it's like, there's this one moment where, like, towards the end where he gets angry at someone. And it's like, fuck me. All right, he's on one now. And all he's really doing is raising his voice. It's great. It is a great film.
Hoytman.
Yeah.
Watch this.
I wish they did. I wish they did more of these. Like, just more George Smiley films, please. So yeah, great stuff. Right. And then the rest of it is basically horror inflected all the time. Oh no, apart from Trolls Band Together, you can't call that a horror film. Sorry. Well, I mean, no, maybe some will. So look, Trolls Band Together is absolutely a step up from Trolls World Tour. It's not as good as Trolls. It doesn't quite have the weirdly almost like handmade aesthetic that the first Trolls has, but it's got more of the surreal spirit and good time vibes of the first one. It's a U, but there is a joke about how two characters are kidnapped, and one says to the other, "Well, I didn't expect both of us to be tied up on our honeymoon." In a U.
Fair play.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, like Noel came out of it saying there's a lot of sex jokes in Trolls 3. It's like, yeah, kind of actually. Like those two characters, one of them is just like really, really fucking horny, and it's odd. But look, it's a celebration of boy bands, and sure, why not? Pretty fucking harmless. Looks good. Had a couple of decent laughs in it. There's a baby who pretends to have a driving license where he's called Adulty McMahon-Face, and I quite enjoyed that, I won't lie. You see, that's the thing, Mark's laughing.
Yeah, that's good.
And yeah, I thought it was... I thought it was perfectly harmless. I had a good time with it. Like, lots really enjoyed it, and I can see why. And the kid,
You've made
sorry,
me cry.
I mean, no, I'm sorry, but like Adulty McMahon face is a very funny
I will watch
name.
it just based on that joke.
So yeah, no, good. So that's Trolls Band Together. Like, honestly, not that bad.
Is that the character played by Christopher Mintz-Plasse? Because I kind of hope it is. Damn!
No, God, that would be incredible. No, he's the one who she wasn't. His wife says to him, "I wasn't expecting both of us to get tied up on our honeymoon."
And that's Zooey Deschanel who says that. Yeah,
but no.
And that's Zooey Deschanel who says that.
Yeah. So yeah, there we are. Trolls Band Together. Not bad. Okie dokie. No, it's Kenan Thompson who says that, I think. Because he plays a small, glittery creature. But with Kenan Thompson's voice. And there's a whole running thing about how he's a grown-up, and so he does all the driving. And he's called Adulty McMahon Face. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Trolls Band Together, not bad. Good time at the cinema, and short as well. Like, the credits came up, and Lossie was just like, that was really short. And I looked at my watch, it was like, yeah, it was about 80 minutes, kid, you're right. Yeah, it was. So, yeah, there we are. Okay, so now pretty much all horror all the time. So, rewatched Beetlejuice, and it was the first time Donna had ever watched Beetlejuice. And, like, at the end of it, Donna was just like, that was a really weird film. Beetlejuice 2 is going to be fascinating, because Tim Burton has said there's like no CG in it, it's all practical effects, which sounds fucking incredible.
That's just made my excitement levels go from being very worried to oh.
Yeah. But I could see, I think they're going to have to reduce the horny level. Because I could see the teens and young adults of today going, nope, absolutely fucking not.
Yeah, because literally, he is trying to marry a teenager.
He's doing that, and it's like every 5 seconds, whenever he's talking to Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin, he's trying to like go for her tits or her ass. He's a horny old boy.
He opens a brothel.
Well, he walks into that brothel, don't he? He's like, he's doing a little dance as he's fucking walking. It's bonkers film. I mean, everybody knows that. Like, just how was that film just an absolute like pop culture sensation? I think it's wonderful that it was. Don't get me wrong. It's just I don't think we'll ever live in those times again. But I
think the
Beetlejuice 2 is
closest
going to be
you
something.
could get, and it's going to sound mental for this. I think one of the closest things you could get for like to this kind of thing would be something like Barbie. Not in terms of like style, but in terms of the sheer oddity of the concept.
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
Yeah. So, I mean, do we have any idea what Beetlejuice 2 is about? Because the sequel was going to be like Beetlejuice's Hawaiian Vacation for like the longest time.
No, they've not let on what it's about.
Other than like Jenna Ortega's playing Winona Ryder's daughter. And that's kind of about it. Yeah. Fascinating. Okay, so also... So I was looking on Netflix for something to watch, and it was like, right,
Beetlejuice's wife.
Yeah, it's Monica Bellucci.
Who is? Monica Bellucci is playing Beetlejuice's
it's
wife.
The latest in the collection of Tim Burton casting his partners in things.
She's with Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Fuck me, Monica.
Yeah.
Standards.
Yeah, Tim Burton has
left out in the rain.
had some, but he's Tim Burton. Like, he's got a whole thing, hasn't he?
Yep.
He's had some fascinating relationships for a guy who looks like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking through Netflix. There's this Netflix film I just don't think I'd ever heard of, even though looking at Letterboxd, Noel watched it when it came out a couple years back. So this is directed by the guy who did the Creep films, the ones with the Duplass guy,
yeah.
one or the other of the Duplasses. So the film is There's Someone Inside Your House, where technically that's correct. Twice there's someone inside someone's house.
Occasionally, people might be in your house.
Yeah. So but it's based on a young adult novel of the same name. So essentially, this is a kind of like a Scream, but about cancel culture rather than horror films. Where so the like if I just say like the opening 5 minutes or so. So like there's this house and this American football player school kid. As he's at his house, he's gone to sleep, he wakes up, and there are a bunch of photos everywhere of him basically kicking the shit out of a teammate who's just come out as gay. And then the killer comes in, and he's got a 3D printed mask of the footballer's face, and then kills him. And the whole thing is basically a killer exposing people's like secrets and then like kind of like texting it to everybody in the community, however the fuck that happens, and then killing them while wearing a 3D printed version of their face.
Okay.
And that is, I think that's a cool idea.
I think I started watching this.
Right.
Has it been on Netflix a little while?
Right. Couple of years.
Go on.
And I think that's great. And then like your central kind of like cast of characters, you've got this girl who has definitely got like a secret, and she's changed her name and moved to this place, and a bunch of other people, and then they like people start getting picked off and whatnot. So in like the first half hour, there's quite a lot of good dark comedy. And in the first half of the film, they're almost painting it as, actually, am I supposed to like these people or not? Like, because they're kind of dickheads. And then the second half, it's like, nah, fuck that. They're all just being stalked by someone, and one of them's actually the killer, and, guess which one? And it just loses the bite that it had. It's also not helped by the fact that the lead girl is like shagging this guy who is this loner who is like basically singled out as the murderer by people. But whenever he's around and she's with her friends, one of her other friends is like, fuck off, creepy guy, you go fuck yourself, fuck off. And she doesn't do anything to defend him. And it's just this really weird, she just booty calls the guy every now and then, and he just seems to go with it. And it was just this weird kind of like, okay, is that an insight into high school relationships these days? Because Jesus Christ, no, actually, I think it's just poor filmmaking. So, or a poor screenplay, more likely. So, it's got interesting things in it. It's got good ideas, but the execution is shit.
Yeah. Oh.
But the good ideas, if you're so inclined, maybe make it worth a watch. Like on our rating scale, it's a touching cloth for me.
Yeah.
Because it is brutal as well. Like it's satisfyingly bloody.
Sounds like a you watch, Becky.
But it's also less interesting as it goes on.
I'll give it another go.
Yeah, there we are. And then finishing up, did a bit of a double bill to be followed up by another double bill this week, I think. So I got the Psycho 4K collection, the Arrow box set. So I've been starting to make my way through these. So watched Psycho for the first time since I wrote my dissertation.
Whoa.
So Yeah, so that's been 18 years. The Arrow disc. So in this collection, the Arrow disc is literally the Universal 4K that had already come out. The box art's different, but the disc itself, literally, you boot it up. It's not like the normal Arrow stuff. It's just the Universal disc. Yeah. So which was a little bit disappointing, but it's a good transfer. I mean, Psycho. I'd weirdly forgotten just how much Janet Leigh is actually in it. Like, she's not killed off until about 45-50 minutes in. I mean, it's Psycho, for fuck's sake. You know, to be honest, I want to talk about Psycho 2 more. So, Psycho is great until the psychiatrist at the end explains everything. But then you get the very last scene of like Mother talking, and it's the shot of Anthony Perkins. Then he kind of like smiles at the screen, and it kind of like it superimposes the face of a corpse on his head, and it's awesome. And he wouldn't hurt a fly, or she wouldn't hurt a fly. So Psycho 2. First off, the 4K has got some weird discolorization at the start, which I commented about on Blue Sky. And then listener to the show, Chris, replied saying, "Oh yeah, you know, people have actually commented on this to Arrow, so it's a thing." And every now and then there are individual shots that look a bit shonky, but then most of the transfer is like, this film should never actually look this good. It's Psycho 2. Stop looking as good as you do. But yeah. Psycho 2. What is you guys' experience with Psycho 2?
I just remember watching it on VHS, like on a rental back in the day, for the simple fact that I think I rented Psycho. It'll have been like one Halloween. I went like a bunch of Halloween movies. I think I rented Ambulance, the James L. Jones and Eric Roberts movie.
Not Ambulance.
No, Ambulance. And I rented Psycho and Psycho 2. And that would have probably been in about 1993.
Fair play.
So I haven't seen it since then.
I haven't seen it at all.
Bex? Right. Okay. I want to be spoilery.
That's fine. It's a real old film. It's as old as
Okay.
me.
All right.
Oh,
So
1983.
It's 40 years old.
Wow.
So, and this is the thing. It's like over 20 years since the original. You know. And like, which feels unheard of these days, you know. So Norman is declared sane, and he's released. Vera Miles, reprising her role from the first film as well, is there basically saying, well, we've got this petition, it's signed by like 700 people. He's fucking Norman Bates, it needs to say locked up. Norman goes back to the motel and picks up a job working in a local diner where he's befriended by a young Meg Tilly. And his doctor, played by Robert Loggia, is like trying to support him. But immediately he starts, like, as soon as he gets back to the house, he sees something in the window that looks like his mother. The diner that he's working at, one of like the orders that he picks up is a note from Mother, and it's all this stuff about what the fuck is going on, because obviously it's not Mother. And it goes on, and Meg Tilly becomes a friend of his, and but it's ratcheting up, and then there is a mother figure who starts killing people, kills Dennis Franz, who plays this scuzzy ex-manager of the motel who Norman fires. It's Dennis Franz, just doing beautiful Dennis Franz. Just absolutely chef's kiss, scuzzy, blowouty Dennis Franz. It's amazing. And I'd seen the film before, and I knew that there's this whole someone or some people are trying to make Norman believe that Mother is back. But I'd forgotten how it ended. So it's revealed through the course of the film that about halfway through that Meg Tilly is Vera Miles' daughter, and they are together trying to make Norman like go mad again. But Meg Tilly is like snapped herself out of it, and she actually likes him, and she doesn't think that he deserves it, and he is actually not any mad anymore. He is reformed. But there is someone dressed as Mother who kills Dennis Franz, kills another random like teenager and stuff, and it's like, what the fuck's going on? And I couldn't remember what was going on, and for a bit I was thinking like, oh shit, is Robert Loggia involved in this? And then he's killed, and then Vera Miles is killed, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? I do not remember what's going on. And then Norman seems to be going into full psychosis because he's on the phone to Mother, talking to her, but then like Meg Tilly picks up the other end of the phone like upstairs, and he's not talking to anyone. What the fuck is going on? So things happen. Like Meg Tilly dies. She is shot by police because she's actually trying to kill Norman because she thinks he has gone mad. Finally, and then the ending, it's like there's like 5 minutes before credits. It's like, what the fuck? I do not know where this is going because the Mother figure is still out there. It's definitely not Norman. What the fuck? But through like the last 20 minutes or so, Norman's been saying, Mother told me that Mrs. Bates actually wasn't my mother, and that I like she's my mother, and I need to protect her, and I need to take care of her. It's like, what the fuck? So then the last scene of the film, Norman is home. He's sat at his kitchen table, and then Mother comes up to the door. It's like, what the fuck's going on? Opens the door, and it's this woman who was in one scene. She was like the wife of the owner of the diner that Norman took the job at. And she's in one scene at the start. And then she's like, yeah, Mrs. Bates was my sister. I had you, couldn't handle it, and then I was committed myself. And now I've come out, and I saw that these people were trying to make you mad, and I had to protect you. So then Norman's just like, Mother, would you like a cup of tea? She sits down, he makes her a cup of tea. Would you like a sandwich? Oh no, I'm okay. And as he's saying all this, Norman picks up a shovel and then just fucking bashes her on the head. She dies. He picks her up, starts talking to her as Mother, walking up the stairs, and then they disappear into her room, and then he starts doing her voice. And then, so the end is just the cycle has started again. Now he's got his actual mother's corpse up in the room, and he's Psycho Norman Bates again. And it's just...
Honestly, I don't remember being this bonkers.
It's great. And, you know, like I said spoilers at the start, so you know. But I had such a fun time watching this. And, like, that ending is so dark. Because at the start of the film, he is sane. He is back to normal. And there's plenty of times through this film where he's just like, no, it's someone doing this to me. It's someone playing a trick on me. And it is so sad that it's a combination of these people gaslighting him. And I did feel it was a bit... Vera Miles plays this sister character in the first one. She's very sympathetic. In this, she's not at all. I thought that was kind of an interesting choice. But they're trying to make him mad. You got his actual mother doing these killings as well, and it's just absolutely conspiring to make Norman go mad again. So it's got this batshit ending that actually, when you think about it, it's so sad. It's so sad because he's just back in that place again. But yeah, it's schlocky, don't get me wrong. But my God, you're making a 20 plus year sequel to Psycho.
Yeah.
And that is an interesting direction to take it. Fair play. Shot by Dean Cundy, scored by Jerry Goldsmith, written by Tom Holland, who went on to do Fright Night. Man, yeah, this, it is good, schlocky, fair play. You followed up Psycho stuff.
And then there's Psycho 3.
Bonkers. Yeah, and I so I've started watching Psycho 3 last night. I said this to Mark already, but I honestly thought I put the wrong film on when this started. Because you got the Universal logo, and then it's a black screen, and it's just a woman shouting, "There is no God!" It's like, right, okay, strong choice. And it's a nun in a bell tower who's just run up to the top of the bell tower, about to kill herself. A bunch of other nuns run up to her, and then she accidentally pushes her Mother Superior off the inside of the bell tower. She falls to her death, and then all the other nuns are just like, "You're going to hell for that. You're going to hell." And then she just runs off, and then the credits start. It's like, okay, yeah, it is Psycho 3. Yeah. Cool.
Directed by Anthony Perkins as well.
Where's that going? It is. Score by Carter Burwell. And it's from 1985. I think I may well watch the rest of it tonight. I'm looking forward to it. But, man, yeah, I'm having a good time here. And honestly, Psycho 2, beautiful, stupid, but fulfilling 80s horror. Yeah, good on it.
I think it's his second, Carter Burwell's second movie he scored after Blood Simple.
Nice. I like the idea of Anthony Perkins watching Blood Simple and going that's the tone I want for Psycho 3.
Give me this guy.
Beautiful. So yeah, there we go. I'll talk more Psycho next week. It'll be post Halloween, but hey, never mind. Right, cool. That is me. Twitter questions.
I'm going to do our Instagram question first of all, because we did get asked about Instagram, so I have put a bit more out, and we will start using it a little bit more. But we did have a question on the Instagram. And we had 2 questions on Instagram actually. So we had another one since we started recording. It's Andrew Jones asks, Scorsese has to make a live-action remake of a DreamWorks film. Which one are you picking, but you can't take Shark Tale?
Damn it!
Right, DreamWorks, let's have a look. Films. DreamWorks films, let's have a look.
Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted.
This is animated productions.
Co-written by Noah Baumbach, so
oh God, yeah,
they still have a good script.
What am I going for?
Is Ants the one with the really nasty, military ant man?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he'd do a really good Prince of Egypt as well, though. To be fair,
I want him to do a Boss Baby. A Boss Baby, but with just a live action version of it. But Alec Baldwin is still playing the Boss Baby, but just as Alec Baldwin.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going Prince.
And
of
everybody
Egypt.
else sees him as a baby, but it's just Alec Baldwin in a suit.
Fair. Yeah. I'm going Prince of Egypt. I think that feels Scorsese-ish enough anyway.
And Zombie Vish asks us, as UK folk, do you still import any non-UK blues? Asking for a calendar where it's expensive as fuck.
What was the question again?
As UK folks, do you still is in brackets and question mark, import some or any non-UK Blu-rays, so Blu-rays, 4Ks, whatever?
Do you know what? It's an interesting one because I actually changed my 4K player last week.
Oh God! Did it break?
No, I got I got one that can play all Blu-ray region discs.
Nice.
So, yeah, I think I'm going to start again importing because I used to quite a lot because there's a lot of catalog stuff released in 4K in the US that's not released over here. Like a lot. Like there's a 4-disc JFK set coming out through Shout Factory, which is a distributor that has no presence in the UK whatsoever.
I'm fairly certain 4K of Streets of Fire and Warriors as well that isn't UK.
Yeah, exactly. Mean Streets is coming out on Criterion in the US next month, and I don't think Criterion have got the rights over here, because even though Criterion have just started putting out 4K over here, like the Blu-rays as well, if they don't have the rights to the title over here, you know, on Blu-ray, they won't on 4K either. So it's a real crapshoot about what they can actually get in 4K over here. So it kind of enables that as well. So I think, yeah, that's something I'm looking into. But it is also because I bought that almost to like future-proof myself. But at the same time, it's really expensive to import shit these days. Like you're looking at like 40 quid per 4K.
Yeah, I mean,
for like a new release title. That's fucking expensive.
We used to, you know, back in the day with DVD, didn't we? We used to import quite a bit because often you could get it was different. I mean, I think this was pre-streaming.
Yeah.
So, you know, it would be often more indie titles, wouldn't it? So,
yeah, special edition stuff.
And special edition stuff. I remember, like, I mean, one of them we imported was Slice, but also things like Death Proof and Planet Terror.
Yeah.
We imported them about 6-7 months before they came out in the UK.
That's it. I don't think the disparity in release dates is there.
No, it's not as much. And stuff like Half Nelson we got nearly a year before.
Yeah.
So we used to do it fairly often, but not done it for a number of years. But not saying that I won't do it again at some point. Right, Twitter questions. Marcus C2, I've been watching some folk horror. I was listening to an old episode where you were hammering Midsommar. I rewatched it myself yesterday and thought it has its faults, but are reasonably entertaining with some things to think about. It's no Wicker Man, however. Would any of you give it another go? I'd like to give Midsommar another go. Is what I would say on that.
I'm more than up for giving it another go. After Beau's Afraid, I think I need to rewatch both of Asta's previous, but with the mind of maybe this isn't horror, even though it does. I think maybe it was Empire or Total Film did a like top 50 horror films of all time list very recently, and Hereditary was number 1. And I am just a bit like, fuck me, that's some recency bias, and it makes me want to like it less, if I'm honest.
I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go, but I still, in my mind, I still remember it quite well. I still maintain Ari Aster is making black comedies.
I wouldn't mind watching it through that lens.
Yeah, that I am convinced that film is a comedy, and Ari Aster fucking knows it, and he is trolling people. And I kind of love it for that. I liked Midsommar. I think I give it 4 out of 5.
You're an idiot, though.
But I liked it for the fact that I just genuinely think he's taking the fucking piss.
Yeah.
And I kind of love that about it. All right, Rick Kidd. How long a runtime is too long to see a film in the cinema? I have a number of friends say they won't see Killers of the Flower Moon at the cinema because it's 3.5 hours and they'll wait until it's on streaming. Can I just say, on that, I actually genuinely think that's perfectly fair enough.
Yeah, left to my own devices, I would have watched
So do I.
and it was only because you were really heavy keen to see it.
But that's it. I mean, we went to see the Irishman. I went to see that. But if somebody turns at me and goes, "Geez, that's 3.5 hours," because it's not 3.5 hours, because you've got credits, you've got trailers and bits, so it pushes it to touching 4 hours. Plus, I'm also accepting of the fact that people have got to get to the cinema and get home. So it is an endeavour where you are basically blocking out, I would say, in excess of 4 hours out of a day to go and see it.
If we had anything on over this weekend, I'd have been fucked for Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm very, very glad that we had a very intentional, we're not going to do much this weekend.
We watched it because of the way that my shifts were at work, and I wasn't, my next day off was today. We wouldn't have been able to get to it because of the screening times and things like that. We went to see it on Monday night, didn't we?
Yeah.
At like 7 o'clock. But we didn't get home until after 11 o'clock, did we? And I was at work the next morning at 7, so I had to get up at 5:30 to get to work. So
going straight from work as well, so we didn't eat before, did we? So
no, so there was bits of that. But I'm happy to do that for Scorsese and for this movie, because I've been waiting for it for 4 and a bit years. But I think the thing is, personally, it doesn't bother me going to the cinema for 3 hours, 3 and a bit hours. But I can see why other people would prefer to just wait and watch that at home.
Yeah, especially with it coming out on Apple TV relatively soon.
Yeah, I think that's fine. And I'm surprised it did touching 50 million.
In terms of like run times in the cinema, I think all in with ads and trailers, if you're complaining about being in there for anything shorter than 2.25 hours, I think it's a bit, come on now, mate, it's a fucking film. Anything longer than that, I think you could start thinking, okay. However, audiences have been trained over the last 10 years or so for like your comic book movies are 2.5 hours, 2 hours 45 minutes. I think it's the when it breaches the total 3 hours in a cinema, that's where it's truly all right, fair enough, like fair dues. But at the same time, watch what you want to watch where you want to watch it, as long as you're watching it.
That's it. I wanted to see a Martin Scorsese film at the cinema. I want to see all Martin Scorsese films at the cinema. Yeah. Not even all new ones. I will go, if anywhere puts on a Martin Scorsese film, I will endeavour to try and go and see it. I was gutted that I couldn't catch Mean Streets recently, but I have seen Mean Streets at the cinema. Yeah. I would genuinely say I think Martin Scorsese is probably the director with the most films I have seen at the cinema. But yeah, I think I think it's a perfectly reasonable thing. I know, in the same way as the vast majority of people will not watch Killers of the Flower Moon at the cinema, or won't have watched The Irishman at the cinema. Because and I think part of that will have been releases, but part of that will have been the length of the movie. But I think what you were saying there, Ian, it is. If it's 2.25 hours, including credits and everything like that, that's about reasonable. Once it starts getting over that, fair enough. I think there's an element of that, but I would say closer to 2.5 hours with trailers and everything like that, because you're getting close to half an hour's worth of trailers. For a big Marvel movie, you'll have 25 minutes of trailers, and if the movie's then 2.25 hours long, yes, you're offsetting maybe 10 minutes of that for credits, but Marvel want you to sit through the credits. Yeah. So it's still there. So, yeah, I'd say that. Dylan Black Lanterns. While Netflix seems to be putting money into some interesting things of date, like the Wes Anderson Roald Dahl shorts and El Conde, they no longer seem to be considering the flagship streaming service. Which streaming services do you consider essential or most interesting?
Netflix, just because it, especially around this time of year, it has a lot of big heavy hitting stuff. Essential. Yeah, that'll do it.
Difficult one, Max. We were literally having this conversation earlier, weren't we?
Yeah.
Because there's so many now, they're all just a bit shit.
Yeah, they've spread it too thin
Yeah.
that no single one of them is kind of essential. The most interesting is Apple at the moment.
Yeah.
And the most interesting aspect of that is Apple is the one with the least content on it.
Yeah.
It has no catalogue
But
content.
the content it's got is good.
But this year you're going to get Killers of the Flower Moon and Napoleon. You know, you're going to get, but they're also releasing them in cinemas. The one I still struggle the most with is Amazon Prime, just because its user interface, no matter what, they make it fucking worse.
Yeah.
And like Amazon Prime, like it feels like their exclusive content has kind of gone down in quality over the last few years. Like they seem to want to be awards botherers and then just really ejected from that. So now, you know, they've got their the MGM pipeline, but it's not like that's pumping things out every week or anything like that. You know, it's we've got the Bond reality show in a couple of weeks' time. I'm gonna hope, like, I hope I enjoy that. But I've got the feeling it's gonna feel like my soul's being destroyed.
The thing is,
Yeah.
if Disney literally went, do you know what? Fuck it, drop the Fox and the Touchstone content, drop it all now.
Yeah.
Just drop it all on there. But people have to pay an extra £2. I would be more inclined to pay an extra £2 to have more access to things, rather than Netflix putting it up another £2 for the same content. But you know, I don't care about being able to watch the latest series of Stranger Things in 4K because I'm not going to watch it.
No. And I don't care about not being able to watch the latest season of Stranger Things in 4K because I don't give a shit about 4K. So, yeah.
You know, you do enjoy it when you watch it.
I wouldn't notice it if it wasn't there. I more notice it as a upscaling than look at something and go, God, this looks shit. Oh yeah, it's not in 4K. You know what I mean?
The thing is, the minute Amazon say, right, if you want to keep Prime Video, you got to pay us an extra £5 a month, is the time I say I won't have Prime Video anymore. Then, you know, like Mubi is really expensive unless you join it, get like a 3 months for £1 offer, remember to cancel it, and then a few months later go, okay, I'll do 3 months for £1 again. Like that's the thing with Mubi. It's timing it right, but it's not essential because I never ever want to watch a film that is on Mubi after a day of work.
No.
The only times I watch anything on Mubi is when I'm on a holiday because I'm like, okay, I feel like I have the mental bandwidth to watch a film that is on Mubi.
Yeah.
Even though Passages is on there on Friday.
That's it.
Yeah.
I Mubi for me is always there's just I get it's a curated service, so it's not a criticism of that, but there's just not enough available for me to put the money into it. I need more. It's a thing. If I'm going, I very rarely go to a streaming service to watch a particular thing.
Yeah.
I go to streaming services to watch bits. To watch a film.
Honestly, at the moment, I think low key one of the great subscription services is Sky Cinema.
Yeah, it is. Because I think the difference with Sky Cinema is that's better for catch-up shit for within the year or the previous year that you've not got to.
Yeah. Rather than finding
And
something from 15
it's
years.
got a good archive.
And it's got a good archive. And I know that when it clicks into December, Sky Cinema will have more Christmas films that I can watch than Netflix will have, and then Disney will have, and then Prime will have. Because they'll go, look, here's a load of Christmas films that we've got, there you fucking go.
Do you know what? I look at, like...
I get to watch 8-Bit Christmas again.
I look at it sometimes and just think, just get rid of them all. None of them have got enough now to warrant their price.
No, they probably don't.
They're all diluting each other.
The fact that the Netflix one of Netflix charging an extra £7 for 4K is preposterous.
Netflix need, like, if they could just do a 4K ad-supported plan. I mean, like, I'm locked in with Sky Stream, like, until next October. It's straight up $14.99 a month for me.
So
that's cool.
$17.99. And at that point, I'm like, do you know what? Do I need 4K?
It pains me to say that I think I kind of need 4K, but give me ads.
The thing is,
just fine.
If there was
give me
more,
ads.
the problem is that if there was more non-Netflix content in 4K, I could justify it. But for me, there isn't enough and the fact that you find a lot of it by chance in the same way as you do on Prime.
Yeah.
That's my other thing. There is you shouldn't have to pay extra for it. There's an element of these. I do find Prime are the only one who don't do this, but with Netflix, it's a little bit like they seem to think that we should be going, oh, thank you for letting me subscribe to your service. And it's like, fuck you. You know, your Netflix own brand output is a bit shit.
Yeah.
And you've got less. Stop putting your price up. You know, that's the second price increase within a year.
Stupid, isn't it?
Yeah. We do have one more question
But just to say, the reason why they're doing that is because they want people to go to their ad-supported plan. They want, because, you know, they can charge people, yes, a little bit less, even though in 2 years' time it will probably cost as much as the non-ad one does now. But then they also get the ad revenue.
So the ads, they don't happen within the film, do they? They happen before it, I'm guessing.
I believe so. Don't hold me to it though. I don't know how it works.
But it's like $4.99, isn't it?
I'd like to think so.
It can't happen during a film, surely.
Wouldn't surprise me.
No.
But then it's just like an ad break on ITV or Channel 4 or something like that. You know what I mean? It's just we don't pay for ITV or Channel 4.
I don't watch ITV or Channel 4 though.
Yeah, I haven't watched a movie on a terrestrial TV channel not on holiday in 20 years. I haven't watched a movie. I think the only movies I've watched on terrestrial TV will be something like Stealth, Casino Royale, and probably like True Lies. Just ITV2 stuff. Ethan M. Barr. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2 getting renamed. What would you call it?
Mission Impossible Dead Rebecca Ring Ferguson.
What?
I don't know.
Mission Impossible 2. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2. The Avengement of Ilsa Faust.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, the cat just didn't seem to like that. Had a weird reaction. What are we covering next week, Ian?
Bit of a bumper one next week. So, are you guys able to make The Killer?
It's unlikely, to be honest, just with my work shift patterns.
You are welcome to do that. If you've got to do that, you can do.
Ooh, however, that might open it up a little bit.
All right, well, we shall see.
About that.
At the very least...
I am very unbothered about that film.
About New Fincher? Okay. At the very least, we'll have a film we're all bothered about. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, dear.
It's not looking good, guys. It's not looking good. And Pain Hustlers, I think. It's on Netflix. Yeah.
Pain Hustlers, Five Nights at Freddy's.
And I'll talk about The Killer and what we've been watching, and then we maybe just full review it a couple of weeks later. Maybe we'll see how it goes.
I'm gonna see what I can do about getting to that. I very much would like to.
I might watch the Banana Split.
So Wine Report
as well.
It's worth saying as well that Five Nights at Freddy's is on Peacock in the US. So, if I finish this wine, I'd have to chug it now. It's the last glass.
I'm impressed.
Do I dare?
No, enjoy your wine. Don't listen to her.
Thank you, Angel on the shoulder. So, thank you very much for listening to episode 513 of Film Bastards. If you made it this far, good on you. Actually, to be fair, it's the shortest one we've done in a while.
For the longest film we've done in a while.
You're welcome. Yeah, quite.
Ooh,
yeah.
Ian, update.
Thank you. Yes. Ooh,
I
update.
think I can do The Killer. Yeah.
Good.
I think I can. I'm on an open on Monday, which means I finish at 3:15 in the afternoon, and it is showing at 4 o'clock at the Everyman. I can get across to the Everyman in 45 minutes. Go and see that. Yeah.
Do it.
I think I'm going to do that, yeah.
It. Right. Good. Right. Becky doesn't like David Fincher. Bye-bye, Becky. Mark does like David Fincher. Bye-bye, Mark. And I don't like Jason Reitman. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye.